doing my DM in pediatric nephrology. So this mother came with her 14-month-old boy with the history of high-grade fever since last 3-4 days, which was associated with increased frequency of micturition, and there was history of one episode of hematuria. But there was no history of burning micturition. There was no history of other URI symptom or GI manifestations. On examination, patient was apparently alert, active, but was running high-grade fever of 102 with some bit of tachycardia. Examination of systemic as well as local genital and perineal examination was essentially normal, did not contributed anything significantly. In view of this presenting chief complaint, the possibility of urinary tract infection was kept, and further he was evaluated further. On investigation, its urine analysis shows 15 to 20 WBCs per high power field, some bit of RBC, and there was no protein. Because patient was running high grade fever with he also had like leukocytosis with the predominance of neutrophils. So a possibility of urinary tract infection was considered, and urine culture was sent. While awaiting for urine culture, he was started on cefixime for his UTI. And mother was instructed to come back after whenever urine culture was final report was available. And mother came back after 5 days with urine culture showing multi-drug resistant E. coli, only sensitive to colistin and amikacin, which are both like have to be given either parenteral route, either intravenous or intravascular. So because since child became febrile only and symptomatically improved within 2 days after starting cefixime, so this was probably patient was responding to cefixime therapy and he was continued on same drug, and completed 10 days of course of cefixime therapy. And because on further evaluation, asking mother also gave history, there were 2 episodes of UTI previously at 3 months of age as well as 9 months of age. So this kind of label that patient is having recurrent episodes of UTI, so needed further investigation. So ultrasound scan of kidney and bladder were done, which showed severe hydronephrosis on right side, and further imaging of cystohysterogram, there was grade 3 reflux on right side. So keeping in all these possibilities, patient needed further intervention to prevent its symptomatic recurrence of further UTIs. So basically, this is kind of typical scenario we many times faces in OPD, where we need a kind of oral evidence to be generated, because we can't go through. There are so many like studies and randomized trial. And sitting in OPD, we can't like go through each and every RCT to look for final conclusion or for final evidence-based prescription for patient. So there, basically, because this patient is having recurrent UTI, also have some abnormal urinary tract. So one clinician need to know whether should we like go for like advice for surgery, surgical reimplantation, or with like antibiotic prophylaxis is good enough. And what are like risk associated both of these interventions, because this patient was ultimately and urine culture grew like multi-drug resistant E. coli. So giving antibiotic prophylaxis associated with risk of having further UTI with multi-drug resistant organism. Same like surgery also have disadvantage. So there, this is like typical scenario where you need like pooled evidence or like Cochrane evidence for giving patient final oral evidence-based prescription. So like I'll hand over to Dr. Praveen and Anu.
Something. Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So now that we have this case, now we have to relate this case to the present session. And as you know that this session is being conducted on RevMan. RevMan is a software which is provided for free by the Cochrane collaboration for conducting systematic reviews. Now, as has been said, there are two possibilities after the case has been presented. One is that to the given problem, would you like to state the PICO for a problem, Jitin, in
Yes,
this
ma'am.
particular case?
Yes, ma'am. So it's typical PICO would be like, does antibiotic prophylaxis as compared to surgical intervention prevent further recurrence of symptomatic urinary tract infection in children with vesico-ureteric reflux?
Very good. So now there is a possibility that there is already a review existing on this, a Cochrane review existing on this. But if there is no review existing, in that case, you will have to do a review. And for doing a review, we follow all the steps of doing a review and writing a protocol and then conducting the full review. So now we want to see if we have to conduct a review on this particular topic, then how we are going to do it and how we are going to enter the data into RevMan software. So I now request Dr. Anil to start off with his presentation. Anil or Praveen, whoever is next in order. Start.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Praveen, you can tell them like how we are going to use RevMan for this.
Okay, I will start with the introduction to the RevMan software. Then the demonstration part will be taken up by Dr. Anil Chauhan. So before going to the introduction of RevMan, I quickly review the different steps of a systematic review. First is the identifying research question and objective or objective. Then the research question was further developed and converted into a PICO question. After that, there is a development and execution of the search strategy. And further come the part data abstraction, which is most critical and time consuming step. And after that, there is a presentation and synthesis of results, and followed by assessment of study quality and publication bias and policy conclusion. So in this presentation, I will give a brief introduction. RevMan, which is also called Review Manager, and this software is used for preparation and maintaining the Cochrane reviews. And it was developed by the Cochrane collaboration, and it is mainly used for performing synthetic analysis and meta-analysis. And it is very easy to use, and it is mainly used in the field of medicine, psychology, and etc. So it is supported by well supported by Cochrane collaboration, and it has also a tool that is a risk of bias assessment available with it. So RevMan can be used for protocol as well as full reviews. It is most useful when you have formulated the questions for a review, and it allows you to prepare the text, building the table showing characteristics of studies and comparison in the review, and also add study data and performing meta-analysis and present the result graphically. So it can be downloaded from by clicking on this link or simply through Google search. So now I will little bit show how to download this. So when you search for RevMan software, it can be downloaded through the Cochrane training page. So nowadays it is Revman 4.5, sorry, 5.4 version available. And here there are three options to prepare for a Cochrane review. That is, you are a Cochrane author for academic use or for commercial use. So here I choose for academic use and submit. Now fill up form will appear. You have to fill your details, and then clicking the agree option, you can submit the form. So here you have two options for Cochrane authors or for other use of Revman. Revman can be used for other reviews also. So it is nowadays the current version is 5.4 and it is released on the May 2020. So here you have option for Revman 5 user guidebook, and here are the links. Whatever system you are using, 64-bit or 32-bit, you can download accordingly. So after that, you can install this software into your system. And all Revman is also available in the form of web page also. So which will be demonstrated by Dr. Anil. So over to Dr. Anil. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Praveen, for this nice and brief presentation of this Revman. So I will be taking up the demonstration of this Revman, that how can you develop a protocol and a systematic review in this Revman. So when you have downloaded the Revman, so you have to, you can prepare an interventional review or a diagnostic or methodological type of review. So it depends upon the category which you want to do. So first of all, we will share the screen. I will show you the review which we have developed on the Revman. So this is the interface of the Revman you are seeing on the screen, that it is 5.4 version. So here we can see that we have conducted this review, heated humidified air for the common cold. So it is important that you, to know that you are doing a Cochrane or a non-Cochrane review. If you are doing a Cochrane review, then you have to register in, through the Archie, and you have to register your protocol with the Cochrane, and it will integrate with the this Revman file, and you will be assigned this review number, that is A038. Other than this, you can also, if you are not doing a Cochrane review, you can simply do the review by adding the text and the values which you want to do. So here we have done this Cochrane review, where first you have to give the title. It is that is heated humidified air for the common cold, and we can see here that then other authors, we have to give the who is the first, second, and third and fourth, and we have to give their information. And then is the contact person to whom the contact will be shared after for updating this review or any queries. So other than this, there are the dates of searching for this review. If the search strategy has been developed previously and it has been updated, so it is being mentioned here. So it is here that protocol first published. So it has not specified here because no protocol was being published for this. And review first published, so it was in 1999, and last citation it was in the 2017. So these informations are being updated as you are doing this review and updating it this review. So what's the new here? So that is the updated part, what you have updated and which studies you have added, that is in the description part. And what is the conclusion, or you have the conclusion remains the change. So the new citation it is available. So first of all, we come to the abstract, which is the main heading, and under this there are the subheadings for this abstract for this review. These are the background, objectives, search methods, selection criteria, data collection and analysis, and the main results. In the previous lectures, you have been taught about all these things in the search classes, that how to search. So and what will be the selection criteria and how the data collection and the analysis will be done. So all this being compiled in a single platform, that is the RevMan. So here you can you must have written your whole review in a Word format. So you can simply copy the text from there, and you can paste here, and you can develop the protocol or a systematic review here. So if you have the background of the review, so you can copy from your Word file and you can paste here in this. And after that, you can add the objectives and then the search methods. So you have to give the details of the search, from which timeline you have searched and which databases you have searched. Then the selection criteria, what you have used. Then is the data collection and analysis, and the main results. These are the parts of the abstract which I am showing you, and the author's conclusion. So these are not included in a protocol. If you are writing a protocol, you don't have to add this abstract, you have to skip it. And second thing is the plain language summary, which is also included in a systematic review. So in the plain language summary, you give the whole summarize the whole review in 5 or 6 subheadings. What was your review question? Here was, we examined the effects of inhaling heated humidified air delivered by a device for people with a common cold. This was the review question. So we have to give its background. So what the studies they have told us that, about this therapy, and what was the search date. So the search for this review is current to 24th February 2017. And what are the study characteristics? So how many trials you have included? We have included the 6 randomized trials, and they were the double-blind trials. And how many participants they being included, and from between which years? So, and what was the language of the included trials? So, and what were the settings where the study, from where the studies have been taken? That is the USA and the UK and Israel. So we have to tell about the settings and the number of participants, the type of studies, type of being intervention being used. So these are the study characteristics. And then we come to what are the funding sources. We have to also write the studies they have disclosed about their funding sources here. So we have added here, and then we have to give the key results. Other than this, we have also to grade the quality of the evidence being used in this review, which is being done by the grade criteria. And how the grading was done was, it was of low quality or outcome, or it was high quality. So we have to give the results here. So these, all the plain language summary and the abstract, they will be the part of the systematic review, but not the part of protocol. And if you are directly writing the protocol, you have to start from the background. So condition, so you have to describe the condition. Here the condition is the common cold. You have to describe and give the reference to that condition. So as in this review we have given, and you can simply copy paste from your text file also. So here I can show you that you can add the reference, right clicking here and insert the link, and just you can add the study or the reference from here. If you will click here, the reference will be added automatically to the text. So this is the way you can add the references, but initially you have to go to the reference part, where you have to add the whole citation of all the references. So secondly, then is the description of the intervention. here you have to give the what sort of intervention you are being talking about in this review. So here it is talking about the this heated humidified air. So we have to describe about this intervention with the reference and other interventions being used for this disease. And how this intervention might work. So you have to describe how it will be beneficial. So you have to give that this intervention we are giving at what temperature and for how much duration. So you have to give it with the reference that will support your this review, and why it is important to do this review. So then you have to give that here we have described that there is some cost burden, economic cost burden is there, because most of the interventions they are pharmacological, and they are most costly, and we need some cost effective treatment for this common cold, which would be that heated humidified air we can use. So that is the why we want to do this review. And then we come to the objective of this review. The objective for this review was to assess the effect of inhaling heated water vapor in the treatment of common cold by comparing the symptoms, viral shedding, and the nasal resistance. So these were the objectives. And then we come to the methods. In the method, we have the subheadings here. You can see that what were the criteria for considering the studies for this review. What was the inclusion criteria for the studies? So what were the types of studies? You have to give the detail that if you are writing the protocol, then we will in the future tense you will write that we will include the randomized control trial investigating rhinotherapy. Then if you have done this systematic review, then you can give we included RCT which involves the rhinotherapy. And the application of heated and humidified air to the nasal passages to treat the common cold. So you have also to give the reference. Then types of participants, whether they are acute or which sort of common cold you have been taking, and types of interventions, for which temperatures and which instruments you have been using for this for including the RCTs. Then the type of outcome measures. So you have to divide it into the primary, which are your primary outcomes, and what are your secondary outcomes. So here we have given the two primary outcomes. First is the reduction in the clinical severity of the common cold, which is being done by the decrease in the symptom score index. So which is, and another is the number of participants with the subjective response that therapy did not help. So these were the primary outcomes we have to see, and there are other. Then we have to, when we have defined the inclusion criteria for this review with the outcomes, then we have to go for the searches. So the searches we have to do with the 3 or 4 databases, for which we have to give their detail, that which databases we have searched, and what time we have searched, and what was the search strategy. So here we have given the Cochrane Center Register or Control Trials, which we have searched up to 24th February 2017. And we have given the Appendix 1, which shows the whole search strategy for this register. And we have also searched for the Ovid, Elsewhere, and Thomson Reuters, and had given the search strategies with their appendix. So we have combined all these Medline search strategies, and we have identified the randomized trials then from this search strategies. We have also searched from some trial registries of the US National Institutes and WHOs, from where we can also get the these trials. And we can also give the information regarding searching other resources, such as you can also search for the reference list of the studies, of the primary studies, which you have included in the background or in the intervention part. So, or the review articles from where you can take. Then comes the data collection and analysis, where you have to give the details of the selection of what was your selection criteria of the studies, how many authors they individually screened the titles and abstract of the studies, and and have included the studies according to their inclusion criteria. So it will be in the selection of the studies and data extraction and management, where you have to give the details of the outcome data in the Excel sheet, what you have taken out, such as study design, total duration of the study, details of any running period, number of study concern and locations, so about the methodology, about the participants, how many number of the participants, their mean age, their age range, their gender, their intervention details, what was the intervention, what was the comparison, and what were the excluded medications and their outcomes. So all these has to be in the data extraction when you are extracting from the trials. So, and you have to also give the details of the authors who are doing the independent data extraction. Then we have to do the risk of bias assessment for the included studies, which is based on these 7 domains, which includes the random sequence generation, allocation concealment, blinding of participant and personnel, blinding of outcome assessment, incomplete outcome data, selective outcome reporting, and other biases. So all these has to be taken into the data extraction, and this has to be added in this RevMan file also. This has to be reported, which will give you the results, and it will grade as high, low, or unclear, and which will be in different colors. And then comes to the measure of treatment effect. Then what sort of statistical that information you are using, that is we use the odds ratio for the dichotomous outcomes and plan to use mean differences or standard mean difference for the continuous outcomes. So these were the statistical outcomes we measured. And dealing with the missing data. So if all of the included studies provided the dropout rates, none conducted intention to treat analysis. So we have contacted for the trial authors to include the any verified key studies which has been missed. So for heterogeneity, we have done for the I-square statistics, which gives the measure of heterogeneity. And for assessment of reporting biases, if we are having more than 10 trials, we plan to create a funnel plot, which gives us the publication biases. Then we come to the data synthesis. Then we pool the data from the studies for the different outcomes. We have done the meta-analysis if we have more than one study. Then we have also done for the grade and the summary of finding tables, which is according to the Cochrane Handbook for Systematic Reviews of Interventions. So that is being done by the GradePro GDT software. So you can download it and you can create an account and you can do the grading. Then we have done for the subgroup analysis of the outcomes. So I will show you the result part where we have done the results of the studies. We have included the 6 trials and for which we have described the results of each of the trial, that which country and how many participants we have taken and which instruments was used for this treatment and for how much time it was there and what the number of participants and the control group. So these all information has to be given of all the trials, and we have also to give the information of excluded studies. So in the there is an exclusion table. So where which studies you have excluded during your screening process. Then these are all the biases you have to describe, that which of the studies have the which sort of bias, such as allocation. 4 of the 6 studies that included were assessed. These studies were unclear bias for the random sequence generation. So we have to categorize for the different biases for blinding, performance bias, and detection bias, incomplete outcome data attrition bias. We have to describe here with the references. So I can show you here in the table. So in the left hand side, we can see here it is written the intervention review. So here's the title. You directly click the title. You can go to the title. If you click to the review information, it will give the review information. Then you click the main text. It will give the it will start from the abstract. And if you go to the tables portion, so here are the characteristics of the included studies. So here you have to add the characteristics of all the individual studies, such as you have added for the Foster 1994. Here is the methods, participants, PICO is being already developed there. So just you have to add the details of this PICO. What were the participants and what was the inclusion criteria of the participants? You have to take from the included trial, and how many participants, what were the settings, what were the numbers, what was the age, and what was their exclusion criteria.
Hello, Dr. Anil, am I audible?
Yeah.
So Dr. Mangla Sood is actually asking some questions because apparently she's having some problem with downloading the software and entering the information. So if you could please go through that part again, in which when we download the software, what are we supposed to do next? So it is easier for...
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can start it from the new file. So if
so ma'am is saying, can you show us how to type the details?
Okay. These from the start.
Because I know there is usually some problem when we want to enter the information. Sometimes the cursor doesn't come and all those problems, they do come. So if you can just demonstrate how to do a little bit. So
first of all, the interface gets opened of this review manager like this. No? So first you have to click from here the new page. Here's the new option. So you can this wizard, new review wizard will be opened, and from there there's the option is the next here. So you have to click the next option. So it will show you the interface where all the type of reviews are there, such as the intervention review, diagnostic test accuracy review, methodology review, overview of reviews, and the flexible review. So which sort of review you are doing?
Can you just give me a minute to tackle Dr. Mangla's question?
Okay.
She's asking, like, what do you do after you have downloaded the RevMan software? So, Dr. Mangla, I wrote the answer that you actually start writing the protocol, but you write that we don't advise directly writing into the RevMan, because although it is very user friendly, but still there are certain things, there are certain features which are not there in this particular software. So what we advise is that you first write on the on a WordPad or on a word processor. That means on a Microsoft Word file, and then you can cut and paste. But you will have to follow the headings which have been given. Like, the first thing you will do is write the background when you're writing a protocol, because abstracts, etc. will be written after the review is completed. So in the background section, there are something like 4 or 5 titles which say what is known about the subject, what is the condition, what is the intervention, why do you need to do the review. So all these questions would have to be answered and filled in into the RevMan file. So, but first you can write the answers in the Word file only, and then you can cut and paste it. The second thing, and along with that, you can, if once you're progressing on the review, for example, the next step will be the methodology, and you will come to your inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria. So those things then you can enter, and again, after you've written the protocol in a Word file, you go on pasting it onto the RevMan file. Am I clear, Dr. Mangla, or anything else you wanted to ask? You can switch on your mic and ask the question. Because this session is supposed to be interactive, and sometimes you have actually crossed a lot of information, and your question is actually something which is very basic. So we must stop in between to ask questions and let the participants ask questions. Okay, Dr. Mangla's mic is not working. All right. So you could see if you are okay. Mangla, if your question has been answered, then you can write okay, or you, if you want any further clarity, then you can type in your question. So where to paste? Where to paste is paste into the RevMan, because if you're working on the same computer in which you have the Word, Microsoft Word, and you have RevMan, then you copy your text from from your Word file and then paste it into the RevMan file. So the RevMan file actually has the ability to write and paste. So you can even write it, you can edit it, and you can do all these things to your whatever you paste. Okay, now demonstration. Do we have an empty RevMan file? Because the one which is being demonstrated by Dr. Anil is a file which has been. Anil, you can show them how to edit it with the file.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am showing the.
Praveen has an empty file. I think he's downloaded the program just now. So he would have an empty file. So he can type something onto the background section or in the title section or in the Pico section because of the question which Dr. Jitendra had raised after the case was presented.
So we have the type of review here. So we have taken the intervention review. So we can just click the next option where we can add the intervention. What is the intervention?
So this is Bangla. This is a very initial field which you get, and this gives you information about the review as to what type of review it is. Because if it is a diagnostic review, then the type of software which will come up will be different. So since you are writing intervention review, then the software which will come in RevMan will be for the interventions. And this is how the typing is being done. And next, when you go to the background section, you also have to write about the people who are involved in this, like who are the participants, who are the authors. So that information also comes in the initial part of it.
So
and
here it is.
Institution you belong to, any sources of support you're getting, all those have to be entered in the first file. So this is since he is taking a protocol, this is just the beginning. So he's clicked on the protocol. So now in this will show up only up to the protocol.
So here, this will show the protocol section. In the left pane, you can see that the abstract plain language summary is not being highlighted. And results, discussion, authors, conclusion are not highlighted. Only this background, objectives, methods, acknowledgement, contribution of authors, declaration of interest. You can cut and paste in these sections from the text file. So here I can show that you can add first of all the
authors. You don't have to always cut and paste, because if the information is very small, for example, just writing a name or something, you can just write it.
There is a background you can write here.
Yeah. So in background, you start with the description of the condition. So here you will talk about UTI. Then you describe about the intervention. Intervention will be antibiotics or prophylactic antibiotics, and then you expand on that a little bit. Then how prophylactic antibiotics are going to prevent recurrent urinary tract infections. You're going to write in how the intervention might work and why it is important to do this. And that's another thing which is very, very important as to what implications it will have on the patients, why it is important to do this. Because the choices which were there was antibiotics or no antibiotics, or it could be antibiotics or surgical options. So one has to, because antibiotics will certainly help in comparison to placebo, but antibiotics compared to surgical option, we don't really know. So one would have to say that this is sometimes you have to take on lifelong antibiotics, so it's better to go for surgery in some of these conditions. And sometimes antibiotics may not work if the patient is infected with the resistant strain. So one has to then look up literature and conduct this review. So that is the importance of the review. So this is how you are entering information. Yeah. I think you're doing it fine. And Mangla, I think you will have to download the software and then start entering information into this. Then you will realize how to actually do it.
So Other thing is the references that you have to add the references here also. No? You can add by the insert
references
link.
is very difficult. Sometimes you can import them from reference files, but sometimes you have to type them.
Here is the reference studies and references section. So you have to just go to the reference, included studies. So you can go to the reference of the included studies. Okay, this is a protocol, na, so we cannot add the included studies and excluded studies. You can add the additional references. Add reference. So here the reference ID, such as the reference paper ID. Then you have to give the next option. Then it will ask whether it is journal article, book, section of a book, correspondence, computer program, Cochrane review. So the journal article is there. Next. So author, you can write here. And the English title, something. Or original title, date of publication, channel का नाम लिखना, current opinion, कुछ भी डाल दो, जैसे volume डाल दो, volume 24, 28, issue 6 डाल दो, pages 7 to 8, 23 to 24. Then it comes to the next option, so we can have the finish. So it will be displayed in the additional references here. So this is the Hari P antibiotic. So when you are adding a reference here at this end, you just have to right click and insert the link, and you can go to the, here it is showing that we have added the Hari 2015. The other references. You click here and it will be, click here OK, then it will be added here, Hari 2005. So that is how you are adding the references. Then we can show you the result part, that how this data analysis is being done. So we can show it from the previous review that we have conducted. So here we have added the comparison rhinothermy versus control. So outcome we have added, that is the number of participants with the persistent symptoms. So we have the 2 studies and participants are 149, and their odds, we have taken out the Peters odd ratio.
Excuse me, ma'am, can I?
Yeah, please. I was just going to ask you to give your comments. Yeah.
Ma'am, it is regarding the adding of the references or studies. We can directly import the references from a text file. Despite that will save us save our time on
All
time.
the problem of entering names
Yes,
and
ma'am.
the bank
Yes,
references. So can you please tell how to do that?
Yes, ma'am. If I can get the screen sharing option, so I can do that. I can
Please do that. You can screen share.
Okay.
Okay, sir, you can share.
So, now this is a RevMan file that I have opened, and in the extreme left, under the file drop-down menu, there is an option to import references, and it will open a import reference wizard. Now we can select the text file that we want to import.
Since mostly it is done in EndNote, so you can import them from EndNote, or is there an option for Zotero also?
Ma'am, we have to download it in a text file, and we
Right.
can do that.
So from PubMed, you save your reference in a text file, and from there you import.
Yes, ma'am. And we can choose which heading it has to go. So if it can go to the included studies or additional references, and then So it will be shown here.
Okay.
Imported reference, and the only thing which we need to take care is we have to import the reference in a PubMed or a Medline format. For example, this is the citation that I had imported. So from while we are saving it, we can choose the format. We have to choose the PubMed format, and we then we create a file. So the file. So is this visible?
Yeah.
So so this text file will look like this, and only this format can be imported. So where it has a PMID or a stat and LR. So,
Okay.
a summary text, if we download a summary text file or a file with abstracts, abstract text, it won't be imported. So the RevMan, it has by default it takes the Medline format for import of the references.
Sir, can we import the references from EndNote also?
Yes, sir. If we have an EndNote file, we have to first export the references in a text file in a Medline format, and then we can directly import them in RevMan as a text file. But the format will be in the Medline format, because all those columns will be populated automatically by RevMan.
Thank you, sir.
The question is, any word limit for writing the background and other details of interventions, etc. Dr. Meenakshi, there is no word limit, but you have to keep it concise and not make it too long. It should be like, that you don't leave any information, and along with that, you should be able to, say what you want to say in these. So it has to be concise to be precise. And RIS format can be imported, Nishant?
RIS format cannot be imported. It has to be it has to first get converted as a text format in the Medline performer.
Okay, okay. So, Dr. Meenakshi, is it clear? Meenakshi, is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely clear. Because generally we import in RIS formats from all the databases. So this is very interesting learning for me that it has to be changed into the text.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir.
Okay, any further questions? So, you know what, today's section, I think we would limit to the protocol only, because you people have to first start writing your protocols rather than go into the other nuances of the review. Because once you've written the protocol, only then the next step will be go for the review, and by the time you would have forgotten your things. And it is not just a matter of typing, it is also a matter of doing it. And doing it would mean that you have taken into, you have like 3 or 4 people who are doing it. The steps of how to do a review will be, you will find very well in the handbook. I hope you people have also downloaded the handbook. RevMan is actually part of the Cochrane handbook. And handbook actually is the Bible of, Cochrane reviews, in which the main guidelines as to how a review has to be conducted, what are the variables to be entered, how they have to be entered, and there are so many other issues which are there. So you must read your handbook when you are in the process of conducting a systematic review.
Yes, I think Dr. Murli want to ask something. Dr.
Yes.
Murli, no.
Actually, with my video, actually, I'm having a problem with a connectivity issue, so I'm not able to put on my video. So I've just put in my audio on.
He is muted. Murli is muted.
Okay, so he can type his question.
Yes. In the meantime, I had shared the feedback form in the chat box. So you can take 2-3 minutes to fill the form.
And there's one more point about this Revman 5.4, but which is more valid for the Cochrane authors, because now the Cochrane reviews have been shifted on a Revman web platform. So while we are doing it on a Revman 5.4, we can directly connect it to the Revman web. So that is what Revman 5.4 has an additional feature to Revman 5.3.
And the web version have a advantage that multiple authors can work on the same file. If they
Yes,
have
but Revman web is only accessible to the Cochrane authors only, Cochrane review authors. It is not available for the non-Cochrane authors.
Okay.
Of course, the Revman files will be available only to the authors, and they are there in the archive, because the moment you start doing a Cochrane review, you will be given an archive password and username, and then you can directly log on to your editorial base and you can start doing your work.
The next question was in the same line from Dr. Meenakshi. Can the other authors track and change in Revman as option available on Revman web? Yes.
Revman web is only accessible by the Cochrane review authors, whereas Revman 5.4, the desktop version can be used in a non-Cochrane mode also. But whereas Revman web cannot be used for non-Cochrane reviews.
Because Revman 5.5 is mostly online, and it's meant for only people who have become registered Cochrane authors. Whereas the other older issues of Revman, you can have a static or a file which you can create yourself, and then you publish it in some other place. Because Cochrane doesn't bar you from not publishing in other places or other journals when work has been done on Revman. So sometimes you can download Revman and then you create your review, but it will not be a Cochrane review. It will not go through the process of a Cochrane review, because after you've written a protocol, it will be submitted to the editorial board. It will go through several editorial steps, and then you will start doing your systematic review, and Cochrane will provide you with a lot of support for doing a systematic review, such as they will send you the searches and articles also if required. So all those things will be there.
So in Revman, only one author can work at a time. Like in Revman web, other co-authors also perform the track changes, and the file gets saved. Whenever the track changes or other changes are done by co-authors. Can we have this kind of thing in Revman also? Suppose we're a team of 6 people. So if we are having Revman non-Cochrane review, so only one author can do the changes. Can it be accessible to other authors also?
See, if you are a group and you are doing it on Revman, which is there in everybody's computer, so every step there has to be a consensus as to what you're writing is, the same thing is meant by all the authors. So you can change and exchange the files. You can send Revman files on email, and you can, they will go to the Revman program, and there this can be edited further. You can always make color changes or other things by which you can edit, the other people can edit your, but it's always good to do it in a stepwise fashion. So once a thing is done, then you extended to the other authors. Now this is when it is a non-Cochrane review being done on RevMan. So I think I'll have to log out because I'm getting a phone call.
Ma'am, it will follow the same procedure as we do it on a Word file. We can see who has done that, who has done the changes, but we'll have to share that through an email because we don't have, there won't be any central server for RevMan other than Cochrane. So for that, you can use there's another platform called Covidence, which I think will be taken up subsequently. That you can use where many authors can do the online changes or whatever they want.
Covidence.
Dr. Mangla has some questions. So, ma'am, when we are working on RevMan, by default, it saves whatever we are doing every 10 minutes, and it kind of saves the automate recovery file. So if you suddenly if you lose it, you can recover it, but provided 10 minutes have elapsed. Otherwise, there is an option to save it like the Word file. We have a save button as we do it on a Word file. So we can do it on RevMan also. And the already done work, if you're doing it on in a non-Cochrane mode, you can use it as a Word file. It is as good as a Word file. You can type it. You can do your analysis also there, and it will be saved on your desktop only. You can access it when and whenever you want it. Okay, ma'am. RevMan as a beginner is is a very easy software because it gives you all the things at one single platform. You don't have to switch between the softwares. You don't have to change anything. And there's a RevMan user guide also available, which you can download and you can use while you are doing it with RevMan. Or otherwise, if you get any problem while doing your analysis or while using RevMan, you can always contact us. We will be happy to help you.
I think is there? Yeah, there is another question. Is there any video tutorial?
Yes, the RevMan tutorial is available in Cochrane also.
RevMan tutorial is available with a video is available with us also, and you can have if you're a Cochrane author, you can access the Cochrane tutorial materials for free. Otherwise, you'll have to pay them some to get to their video tutorials. Otherwise, YouTube is a very handy option where you can get any kind of tutorials for any softwares.
Do we have more questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, then.
Thank you, everyone. So I think everybody has filled the feedback form also. And we have next session on a conduct of a systematic review of a diagnostic accuracy study next Wednesday. So thank you. Yes?
Who will be taking that session?
Yes, sir. By you, sir, only.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Anil, Dr. Nishant, and other participants. It's a very good session. Great learning. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you.